I think you need to have something to manage before you have a manager.
Right.
You know?
Someone who wants to get to where you are and treat this as a business. You know, Mariah Carey wasn't going on TikTok to become famous, right?
It's a different time in
It is
music.
a different
yeah.
time. So can you talk about all the different function of your business? Do you have merchandise?
Yes.
You have somebody who builds a sales funnel for that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
And I'm involved in everything.
Is there any platform where you don't do the posting or you do everything for all this stuff?
I do everything now, but I'm sure that there's going to be a point when I'm probably not going to be able to like
Uploading on YouTube's a bitch. I can totally see like having someone else do stuff like that for you.
It helps, but I'm like a little bit of a control freak.
Okay.
So I like to be involved. But the thing is I've learned to kind of like simmer down on that over the years.
Yeah.
But I just like want to make sure that it's in my voice, you know? So I always have to approve it because I would never want somebody to send out, like I do everything myself right now. So that's not to say in the future I won't have an assistant that I might be like, hey, can you post this for me? But that still means that I'm giving the final say, final approval. I just never want anybody to like say something that's not in my voice, you know?
I guess what I'm asking next is like, at what point of success do somebody out there is like, I'm looking for management, and someone like we got to a certain revenue number where I decided to hire a social media manager.
Yeah.
Well, for you, was there a point where you realized we're making enough money, we're having enough success, or I need to start delegating some of these tasks?
I think you need to have something to manage before you have a manager.
Right.
You know, like I think people kind of get caught up in this thing like, oh, like, you know, you see these like, I don't know, these new artists or whatever, like they slide in my DMs and they'll be like, hey, can you hop on my, like they just expect someone to make it happen for them.
For sure.
And I think that with social media, we're in this like period of the world where you can do it yourself. Like I think maybe build it yourself, because that's what I did. I mean, I was independent recording covers and mashups in my bedroom, and then taking the video and like setting up my Canon and like making sure the angle was right, the lighting was right, and making sure like it didn't go out of focus, and God forbid it went out of focus because I'd have to do the whole fucking video again. And like I was learning the angles, the lighting, like the ring light.
Autofocus.
I have both, baby. At this point I have like a little camera closet. But back then, you know, like I was like learning and just like doing things myself, and that's kind of, I feel like, what led me to this point in my life where I can and like have a team or have other people get involved, because I'm like, the lighting's not right there. Can we redo that? Or like, you know what? Actually, I don't like that vocal. Can I please try it again?
Yeah.
And I'm still open for input. That's not to say I'm like, it has to be my way. But I just feel like when you know your craft or know your art and know what you want to say or what you want to release, it helps the whole idea. Like it helps everybody come together in a much more cohesive way. So maybe work on it yourself and grow it yourself before looking for handouts. Because I never did that, you know?
Yeah, a lot of businesses are like initially looking for seed capital. And I'm like, you should be able to turn a profit initially.
Before you're getting an investment. I agree with
right.
that 150%. Like, why are you looking for a manager before, like, people say, oh, I need a manager just to get me into, and I'm like, do something that makes the manager like worthy.
They should be calling you.
Right.
To want to represent
That's
you.
what I'm saying. Have everybody call you. Don't look for them. Have them come to you.
Do you have an accountant?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you file? And it's going to really weird. No one will ever ask you this question except me.
Okay.
Do you expense everything as far as like the way you file? Does you have to go through the accountant and be like, this microphone? Does it ever get to like this level of travel? I can write this off. That
oh
kind of
yeah,
stuff?
are you kidding me? My write-offs are crazy.
Yeah.
I just went through them like with my accountant literally like last week. Well, not last week. Like it was like 2 weeks ago because we're already done now. But like, you know, I just like to review for the next year. I'm like, hey, for next year, you think I could write this? But you know, my write-offs are crazy.
You realize how many people don't realize what you're talking about, and it isn't until you are a business owner that you come to this realization that like these things that you can, the tax code is written to where instead of paying taxes to the federal government, you can spend a lot of money on your business for continuing education. If you got vocal lessons, so I'm not saying you need them, but you could literally write that off.
Everything.
If you travel, sure, you're in a movie premiere, you get invited, you can write that off.
Yeah, dinners with like other like people from work. Yeah, sure, absolutely, all of that. Are you kidding me? I try to write off as much as I can.
Yeah.
IRS don't come for me.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to go to jail.
It's just something a lot of people don't think about, right? Because because also as a content creator, it really does widen the scope of what you could write off and how you end up paying taxes.
Yeah, there's so much. Even like if you go live and you show a product or whatever it is, like there's so many different ways you could do it. And I mean, I just get nervous because, you know, like taxes are so serious.
Yeah.
And so like I provide everything. I'm like, this is what I bought for my business. Like for, you know, and I have my LLC set up. So it's like, I always like have everything set up, but you know, it depends like what I think I'm paying a little bit more than I should, but my accountant's like, you would want to, you don't want to have any issues.
Yeah,
down
you don't
the
have
line.
the other way around.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, whatever, but I'll spend the money. money. But I spend a lot of money on my business every year.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of people don't realize that. They're like, why? How come Apple Computers doesn't pay any taxes in the U.S.? Well, it's because a lot of their business is off in Scotland and China. But the other reason why is because they buy other businesses every year, and those they can count that down as an expense,
right.
which is why they end up not paying that much in taxes.
Correct.
Also, the situation with like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett was like, he's making his money off capital gains, so he has to pay at a lower interest rate. You don't know this stuff until you get an accountant or you study
like
this.
Mergers and acquisitions.
Exactly. You don't know this until you get an accountant. And so many people just look at it like, I would love to see not how much Drake makes a year, but what he can write off.
Right.
Like what
his jet or whatever.
I'm probably the only person.
His fuel.
I'm the only person who probably thinks like this. I would love to see. Could he literally say, guys, we got to fly everywhere in December so I can write this fucking fuel off, so I don't have to pay taxes next April. I would love to know if that's the way that those things are handled.
One of my friends who's like really, really well known, he was telling me like that. His accountant told him to spend more.
Yeah.
Because
that's what our accountant tells us. Yeah.
Like spend more because then you just have more.
I'm headed to Cabo next week for a business trip.
Right, business.
But it is a business trip.
right.
It's not a business trip for her, but it's for me. I'm going to be I'm going to be in this classroom the whole time when we're there. So yeah, it is crazy. And then again, as a content creator, it's funny. Like video game streamers, they'll like buy packs or they'll buy these chairs or whatever, and they get to write everything off.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, bro, you get to write that off and play video games. That's crazy.
That's your world. That's your business, right? Yeah. So it's like, of course you should.
Love that's the part of the U.S. I love the most, man. I love free enterprise.
I don't like taxes at all.
Yeah,
it's a part of the U.S. I do not like. I do not think we should be paying to add more to the economy. But go off. But go off.
There we go. All right.